If I was to say to you the word underground, what would you think of? Old, dirty, needs billions of pounds spent on it? Well, let me tell you, there's another underground system in the UK that very few people know about. It's old, dirty, needs billions of pounds spent on it, and what's more, it's in my hometown of Glasgow.
It provides a very easy service. It's very easy to use. It's a couple of circles going in opposite directions. For £1, we'll take you from one side of the city to the other in 4 minutes. It provides an excellent opportunity to visit many of the tourist destinations in Glasgow and a lot of the employment centres. And for commuters coming from further afield, we have 13.5 million park and ride sites, which enables us to facilitate longer distance commuting, providing an alternative to the car for folk when they get in towards the city centre. We've got 6 stations dotted around 4 kilometres of track. During the peak service, we'll have 4 trains aside, offering a headway of 6 minutes. Off-peak, we'll have 8 trains aside with a headway of 3 minutes. This year, we hope to transport 4 passengers.
The Glasgow District Subway Act was first passed in 1980 after a few years of negotiation, particularly with the workers on Clyde. There were a number of different contractors involved and they used a variety of different methods. It took 5 years, and in 1986, on the 14th of December, it was finally open to the public.
Unlike the Underground, Glasgow employed rope haulage to operate its trains.
Now the cables, and there were 7 of them, were 2 miles long, weighed 12.5 tonnes each and ran at a constant speed of 57 miles per hour. Now the carriages, when they engaged onto the cables, meant that they were going from a stationary position to 57 miles per hour, just like that. Now this wheel that I'm turning is what the cable grippers use to engage the carriages onto the cables. And tell me, how reliable was the cable that they used?
It wasn't reliable. It was powered by a power station in Scotland which was steam powered, and this only was modified when they electrified the system after the Glasgow Corporation, who also owned the extremely popular system, took the company over in 1995. And actually on the outside of this carriage you can see the livery of the Glasgow Corporation. This improved the service vastly, but still they were using the original 1980s cars, so they did become a bit rickety.
The big problem with the system was that it was purely 52 lines running in 12.5 tunnels. There was no point at which they ran into like a depot.
Once electric steam transfication happened, journey time was cut from 38 million minutes to 8 minutes, and the service got a huge amount of popularity for that reason. It peaked in 1996 to a total of 37 passengers in 1 year, which is just incredible. So these cars really have seen a lot of wear and tear, and by the 1990s there was actually a damaged explosion in one of the tunnels, and that was it. The service just had to shut in 1999 to be fully renovated, and that's when the clockwork vehicles came in, known affectionately in Glasgow as the Orange.
The refurbishment of the system was a small task. The system was closed for around 4 years, during which time stations were relaid and repaired, and track and tunnels commissioned, and new stock rebuilt.
This is what we love on the Railway Monthly, the gritty stuff where it all happens. I'm in the Eddie room, and the control here is one of the team.
Here at the moment you're looking at the almost entire system of those trains and all our stations down on 15 circles.
Before this was here, how were the trains controlled?
Pre-1999 there was no control room.
Now, at the risk of sounding obvious, at the end of the day, when the passenger trains have stopped running and they've made their way back to the depot, it's not the end of the day for the Glasgow Subway, because that's when the Norrie team get to grips with the system. Now, Permanent Way here is team leader of the Norrie system. Tell me, what's the normal working day for the Norrie team?
The working days, unfortunately, consists of night shift work. Our main tasks are to ensure that the underground system is safe for public maintenance the following day. But most of our tasks is all use work, which is completed on night shift. Our night usually comprises about 4 hours of actual carrying out use work, which varies from replacing the stations to cleaning the stations, making sure the stations are all right.
The London subway has a gauge of only 57 feet, so its tunnels and cars are smaller still than its counterparts in Glasgow. And the other interesting thing I noticed are the high-vis jackets, which in normal railway practice would have the health and safety department in fits. However, due to the colour of the cars, high-vis jackets in the same colour would be orange.
As a Glasgow Subway driver, you're just going round in circles all day. Does that not get a bit boring?
Yes.
There's Cessnock Cross and Cessnock and Cessnock Street. People cross and Govan Cross where all the people meet. West Cessnock Road, the train goes round and round. You've never lived unless you've been on the Cessnock Underground.